Hello and welcome to the Landscaper Growth Show. My name is Mark Lamberth. I'm your host. Today I'm speaking with Alejandro Real at Canopy Lawn Care of Southern Miami in Miami, Florida. Alejandro, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
Yeah, so it sounds like a really interesting business model that you guys have, family business, and just a cool story. I'd love to start just by hearing what services you provide for your customers.
So we focus very specifically on fertilization and weed control. That's what we go in selling. However, it's a little more holistic. It includes fungicide treatments and insect control. And as a side thing, we do offer tree and shrub care. But to keep it, we call it a little bit different here in South Florida. We like to call it healthy plants because unlike in parts of the Northeast or other parts of the country, they don't have jungles growing in their backyard like we have here in South Florida, nor the iguanas and other animals that roam around.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And the way that you guys take care of kind of fertilization and weed control, it's kind of a unique thing that you guys are doing. How tell us about that, about the unique qualities of Canopy Lawn Care.
So Canopy Lawn Care, our claim to fame is a more natural approach to lawn care. In the past 15 years or so, there's been definite focus on how lawns are fertilized, how weeds are controlled, and people want for a more natural way of doing these things, right? It's safer for their kids, safer for their pets. It's also safer for the environment. So, when it comes to grass, all grass is going to need some amount of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. But where you get your NPK is what we call matters a lot. The same that we get our vitamins and our minerals from food. Do we want to get that from McDonald's or do we want to go shop at Whole Foods? It matters a lot.
Uh-huh.
It matters a lot to your health. So we derive our ingredients from natural sources like coffee grounds, sea kelp, corn gluten, and number one, besides the benefits that I just mentioned, you do see it in the grass. Number one,
Mm.
if you use sources that are synthetic, it could add a shock to the grass. It could be like trying to survive off Red Bull. So this is especially true for people who want their grass green. They want nitrogen, right? But where you get your nitrogen matters. And if you're just taking a bunch of shots of Red Bull all the time, you might get a little energy at first. You might get a green up, but you'll pay for it long term. So there's a long term
Mm.
solution. So a big part of what we do is not just, hey, let me put this stuff in the ground for you. It's educating why we do what we do, right? And the long term benefits of it. It's a living thing. We treat it as a living thing.
Amazing. And yeah, I mean, I've wondered. I mean, folks have people, companies come in and spray for weed control and fertilization and stuff. I mean, they put the little sign in the yard that says, dangerous. Don't have kids or pets here. I mean, is it pretty toxic, the different things that they spray on lawns? I just wonder about the families and stuff, and kids that are kind of like interfacing with that. I mean,
Yeah, that's true for some companies, right? That are more traditional and established and set in
hmm
their ways. They are used to using things that are a bit harsher, right?
hmm
I wouldn't say that it's toxic, like you're gonna get hurt by touching it. But it's not good to have. It may cause skin irritation if a dog goes out on the grass and they're used to eating grass, like some
mm.
dogs do, right? I had a dog that liked to just chew on grass for some reason.
Oh, right.
That's not going to be healthy. That is kind of this weird concern that people have. So yeah, keep off the grass. Generally
hmm
speaking, yeah, you do want to keep off the grass for a little bit just because you want the leaves to kind of soak in, but it's not dangerous for you. What people
Sure.
need to know the difference is like there's fertilization, there's the weed control, and the weed control we use, selective herbicides, and those herbicides, depending on what you're treating, depending on where you are, may cause irritation or something like that. However, people may not understand. I didn't understand it very years ago that fertilization is related to pest control. We need pest control licenses.
Oh,
So you learn about
huh.
all types of dangerous pest control things out there, right? Things with a label that say danger poison or things that are quote unquote restricted use. But in what we do, nothing is like that, right? So everything is pretty safe. You just want to dry and generally keep it off. And also the application itself. If you are doing what you call a broadcast spray and just treating the whole lawn with the same herbicide, you want to be a little more cautious than if you were doing just a spot treatment. A Canopy, healthy soil leads to healthy grass, and healthy grass is a natural enemy of pests, whether insects or fungus or weeds. So
Oh,
that's what our main focus is. So if we do apply herbicide, it's very much with a spot spraying focus, and it's not intended to, overdo it or put too much. You want it, like I said, keep it as natural as possible. Some people, or most people, don't like to do that because maybe it just takes too much time to go individually to each weed versus just doing a one and done broadcast spray.
gotcha. Okay. Great. And so Canopy Lawn Care is a franchise with national locations. You own the territories, kind of a kind of a collection of territories, but basically the kind of southern Florida market. Tell us about how the Canopy Lawn Care works and the kind of how the franchise is set up.
So the franchise is set up. The headquarters is in Raleigh, North Carolina. We have a national team there. They are scientists. They understand turf all around the country, if not the world, understand what it needs, monitor changes in temperature, drought conditions everywhere. And we communicate basically daily to see how are weather conditions affecting turf in my area, what we need to prepare for, what we need to tell customers, and what materials are we going to need to buy in order to maximize the conditions for the health of the lawn. It's seasonal, right? So unlike a landscaper who might come every 2 weeks to cut your grass if it's getting tall, more or less in the summer, we come out 7 times a year at least, and it's based on the season. As the season changes, your grass is going to need different things.
Oh,
So yeah, so we do that, and we like to keep things very simple. I know that other companies, they have a very complex pricing structure. It's like, okay, well, based on your square footage, they'll have somebody go out, measure the square footage of the turf, sell them maybe a basic package, and then a bunch of add-ons. For us here in Miami, the vast majority of our customers will sign up for one package we call the Pro package. That includes fungus, insect, fertilization, weed control, and it comes out to $50 a month. It's $600 a year, but we don't charge up front. We just split into 12 monthly payments. So super simple, right? There really is not much to discuss there. They have questions, we answer it for them, but we don't want to go and treat a lawn. The person has issues later, and then I go back and say, oh, that wasn't included. Oh, you have to pay extra for that. They're not going to be very happy about that. And at the end of the day, we need our grass to be as healthy as it can be. And that's the service that we're delivering. And we want to just do that up front. Very simple.
man, I love that. How much of the business is referrals, just kind of percentage wise, referrals or kind of repeat, kind of word of mouth customers versus customers that find you guys somehow online that are effectively kind of strangers that find your website, your web presence, and give you guys a call?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we've been operating in Miami for a little more than a year. And naturally, at the beginning, you're not going to get any referrals. We're starting to get referrals now. We have to ask for referrals. It's important to just ask for them. And a rough guess, like maybe 1 in 4 would be a referral. And that referral could be either a neighbor or a family member who told them by word of mouth, or a neighbor who just kind of saw you working in the neighborhood that day. That we get those two sometimes. Referrals are holy grail because it doesn't cost any money, and route density is very important. All right, if I
Hmm.
have 2, 3, 4 houses on the same block, well, that's going to take very little time for us to complete versus driving to 2 houses in different sides of town.
Uh-huh,
So
big
it's
time.
important. We haven't figured that out. We're trying to figure out like how to just maximize the referral process to keep it consistent. So right now we do depend on Google. I just started Google again. I think that when you're starting a business, it's a mistake to spend a lot of money on Google because Google's very expensive. And if you don't have any brand recognition in your area at all, the cost per click and everything is going to be astronomical. You want to, if you don't have customers, that means you have time. And if you have time, then you're just going to do things the old fashioned way. Don't underestimate the power of things like door hangers. Yard signs for us have been surprisingly good. And as long as you follow certain local municipal regulations on yard signs, just do that. And and we try other things here and there, but it's not just me, but most of our franchisees, Google is their main pipeline.
Hmm. Amazing, man. So smart. Just so much great advice and just great ideas in here. Um, and so, Alejandro, if someone were at kind of the beginning of their kind of business journey here in lawn and landscape industry, and they're trying to get their first 10 to 15 clients, I mean, it sounds like you already kind of tapped onto this, but I mean, is it, door hangers, kind of the guerrilla marketing, getting into the neighborhood, door knocking, this kind of thing? Is that what you would recommend for someone to build those first 10 to 15 accounts?
So I would say, yeah, that's part of it. And people get sensitive with door knocking, right? It's just like, I didn't sign up for this business so I could become a door to door salesperson like it's 1935. Um, it's a nightmare for people, even regular salespeople. And I have a background in sales. It's like the worst job they'd ever want. But you have time, and you'd be surprised that people are pretty receptive. When you don't have any customers, number one thing to probably do is give out some free lawn care, right?
Hmm.
Go to a really desirable neighborhood, desirable at least in the fertilization space, and I would imagine this in the landscaping space too, are smaller lots that are close to each other, right? They're less complicated. You're going to charge them probably a minimum anyway that they're happy to pay, and just say like, hey, look, we're new. We'd love to just give you free lawn care for the next 6 months. How about that? What's the catch? Nothing, right? Just let us put a yard sign on your ground. We're new. We're trying to prove ourselves, and we'll give you free advice, and hopefully your neighbors will sign up.
Hmm.
We're like, yeah, that sounds good. And then every
That's
time you go out
fantastic.
there, every time you go out there, um, put a door hanger on each of the neighbors and knock on their door, and then explain, hey, we're working on your neighbor's lawn. Do something like that. Maybe you won't offer them 6 months. I mean, that's probably kind of crazy, but you offer them however much you want. And the people that you give them the free care, they will probably sign up eventually. And the neighbor, maybe offer them 2 months, and then kind of go like that. I think that's a really smart. And then you think to yourself, like, well, how much is it going to cost for me to drive over there and apply materials for free? Like, well, it's still going to be cheaper than Google. I'll tell you that. You have to spend money to make money. You're not really spending that much money. You're spending more time, which you have.
Hmm.
Because you don't have any customers. You're just starting.
Hmm.
10 to 15 customers like that, I think that's a pretty solid idea.
That
Um,
is fantastic.
yeah.
I love it. Great, Alejandro. Well, if folks are in the Miami area, describe again, if you will, your kind of territory that you operate in.
So if anyone's familiar with Miami, it's a rather big place, and where I am is the southern portion of Miami, what's known as Miami-Dade County. Miami-Dade County is actually a collection of a bunch of independent cities, not just Miami. And I
Okay.
operate in the southern part of the city of Miami, which includes neighborhoods like Coconut Grove, very beautiful historic neighborhood. Coral Gables. This is a very affluent municipality. Jeff Bezos lives here. Some of these Wall Street titan guys that decided to
Hmm.
ditch New York have moved to Coral Gables.
Uh-huh.
Kendall, which is where I'm from, a little more suburban, more humble, at least the west part for sure. But the other part of Kendall, like East Kendall, those are wealthier people, houses, and people who care about lawn care. There are parts of Miami, like Hialeah, where people don't like grass, right? And it's just
Huh.
concrete. A lesser, somebody who wouldn't know Miami as well would have probably just see like, wow, look at all these houses, and not know that it's all concrete.
Oh man, I see. Huh.
Yeah, these are people who care about their lawns. They have the money to pay for it. They invest a lot in their landscaping, and it's in my opinion the best you can do for South Florida. And grass is one thing, but also like I said, it's a jungle, especially in Coconut Grove and parts of Coral Gables. It's vegetation everywhere, so it's a good opportunity to also do plant and shrub fertilization as well.
I see. Fantastic. Well, great. Alejandro, if folks are in that area, in your kind of area there in southern part of Miami and in Dade County, Miami-Dade, what are some of the best ways to get in touch with you guys?
So the best way to get in touch with us is our website, right? canopylawncare.com, and fill out a form. But you could call the number back here, 786-981-4175. And most of the time, like, I still insist on answering the phone for new and existing customers, and I may be the owner, but people really appreciate that, and I like to know what's going on. So you would actually get almost likely in touch with me.
Fantastic. Well, great. If you're in that area, looking for a great company to work with for fertilization and weed control, get in touch with Alejandro and the team at canopylawn.com or 786-981-4175. Fantastic, Alejandro. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show today and sharing your experience.
Thanks, Mark.